going on, people? How you feeling? It's Crazy D. It is another episode 4 of the film review live talk. And then we have a great show for you today. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on. First of all, we have the exclusive first part of Luenell's interview with the film review coming on at 4:30 today on a special episode 76 of the film review. Happening. Right? That's the first thing we want to say. That's coming up at 4:30 today. And then right afterwards, my wife and I are going to review the interview and set you up for Sunday, where we play part 2, and then Monday when part 3 is played, and where you can see all that and see when it happens as I populate here, as we got perfect streaming. So in case you see a freeze or anything, people, just go on ahead and refresh your browser and then come back to it, because we're going to be talking about some things. Also, did you see on Wednesday that President Trump called the Treasury heads, the Treasury officials, boneheads? And then just today, Mnuchin comes out and he says that they're going to try and lower interest rates, right? So we're going to get into all that, right? But first, let me see what I want to start with first. But first, galvanize all the way to the top here. Did you see? Oh man, what is this? I don't like this right here. Let's fix this up right now. I don't know what this is doing, but let's fix it. There we go. All right. Did you see that the Supreme Court declared the way for Trump's administration's rule that dramatically limits the ability of Central American immigrants to claim asylum to go into effect nationwide while the appeals process plays out? Did you see that? That was on Wednesday also. Maybe in between all of the ridicule that the different stations are doing, right? Maybe through all that, you might not have seen that. But yes, this is what's happening, and he's basically has carte blanche. Pretty much what the ruling says is that if, let's take the El Salvadorians, they traveled through Mexico to get to America, and their rule was that if you travel through 3 countries to get to the country you want to get to, so El Salvador, Mexico to United States, then you're not able to come in. Why are people still playing the game with Trump and laughing at him, right? I mean, like, I don't understand why people are still laughing at him. It's like they went back to the same playbook that they've been going on. So let me put the article up here so that you can check it out. You know, these are news sources. What I noticed is the internet news is becoming like the print news, right? The internet news is becoming like the print news, and it is telling the true stories why the print news have been bobbleheads for quite some time. Now, the media on TV has been bobblehead for quite some time, right? So they've been bobbleheads for as long as I can remember. I think it goes back to when they changed 2020 from Ed Koppel to the to the bobbleheads and just entertainment. So 2020 used to be the last line of defense as far as bringing you the news at night, and somehow in between the time that they were doing that, they somehow changed up, and now the news is bobblehead news. It's about entertainment. The people who they have up there reporting to you are either authors or somewhere in the entertainment business and not true journalists, right? So the true journalism that is happening is really happening over the internet now. It's like the internet is taking the place of print ad because, you know, newspapers and magazines are dwindling because everyone is getting their information via the internet and watching via internet now. So it's a totally different dynamic going on, right? So we can understand that as I continue to populate. So here we are, you're watching TV every night and they're telling you constantly that Trump is losing. Trump is losing in the polls. Trump is unraveling, and Trump is doing this and that and this and that. And they're telling you this, and if you sit up and believe that, then I have some swampland to sell you, and you don't have the equipment like Bugsy Siegel did to bring the sediment from under the ground up top to, so that's another story for another time. Listen. Okay, so this is the headline. Supreme Court clears the way for new asylum restrictions to take effect, right? While the appeals process is going on. So again, like I said, if you're traveling through 3 different countries to get to the country that you're at, right? 3 different countries. So that's for them, El Salvador, Mexico to the United States, right? Once you get to the United States, they do not have to take you in because you've traveled through. This is the travel ban. See, they tell you on the TV, they say, Trump's travel ban is unfair, but they do not give you the education on what is stated within it to see what would actually stand up in court. They're just constantly throwing this bombardment at you. Now they brought the polls back. Remember back in 16 when they were doing the polls? And they were saying that there's no way that Trump will win, and the polls say. They are back to the polls, right? And now they're back to the ridicule. Meanwhile, everything that this man is doing, he seems to be able to pass through, which it really doesn't bode well for what these people are talking, right? They're talking gibberish in the middle of all this, and it's really weird. It's really weird to anyone who is actually really taking notice to what's really going on, is that they're talking gibberish to the masses of people, and we're supposed to just take that, like take it lying down, take it, believe it, hook, line, and sinker, and that's the way it is. He's winning in the courts. Look this story up and read it clearly so that you will know what's going on, right? The rule from the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security prohibits immigrants who have resided in or traveled through 3rd countries from seeking asylum in the U.S., therefore barring people traveling through Mexico from being able to claim asylum, right? So, of course, Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, of course, they noted their dissent, right? Their dissents. But what difference does it make when you have the court stacked, right? So people have to start paying attention to what's really going on and what's really happening, right? Okay, so in more news that you can use that most people, that the media isn't showing you. Did you hear on Wednesday that Trump said Fed boneheads should cut interest rates to 0 or less U.S. refinance debt, right? So he's calling these people boneheads, right? And the media then is laughing at him, right? And saying, how can he say boneheads, right? Boneheads, this and that, this and that. Listen, what I've been noticing about Trump since he came down the escalator back June 25th, what I've noticed about him is he will put something out there and then it might take a year, it might take 2, but then it resurfaces back into the media cycle. And when it resurfaces into the media cycle, reemerges, that's when it starts to get implemented, right? That's when what he says starts to get implemented. And meanwhile, these people are doing this playing around and laughing and joking and playing around and constantly trying to ridicule, and they're talking about the polls that didn't work last time. Is it going to work this time? Okay. So then Trump says that these boneheads should cut interest rates to 0 or less to reduce the debt, so that the value of the money will be lower, but there will be 0 or less. The interest rates will be 0 or less, so that more money can flow, but the money will become lower. And then they say, well, the banks. So then the different people from the feds come out and say, well, the money will be lower, and then the banks won't be able to make money because there will be 0 interest rate, and and they do this tap dance, but they're doing tap dancing within the administration just for the show, and then what they really want then comes to pass. You have to look at this. Okay, so this is what they really want, right? So they do this, and he calls them boneheads, and they sit there and they appear to take it, and they don't say anything negative against them. And the reason why I have the guy, as you see, his eyes are kind of like blocked out, is because we're being led by the blind here. The blind leading the blind. Okay, so look. Mnuchin says the Treasury is seriously considering issuing a 50-year bond next year. A 50-year bond next year. Okay? So we're watching the news, right? We as the average consumer of news sit there and we listen to the news and we hear this bond. And they say a 50-year bond, and we somehow remember those old movies when they were issuing out war bonds, right? And they say, well, what is this? And or maybe people just don't say what is this. They just say, well, it's a bond and such and so forth, and he's gonna issuing a 50-year bond. Now, for me, knowing how the country is changing in demographics, this leaves a debt for when, perfect example, you know how when there's a neighborhood, it's a middle class neighborhood. It was once Caucasian, right? So then once a black family moves in, and then all of a sudden the white family start moving out, more black families move in, right? Okay. Right? But while they're leaving that community through the government in debt. Sooner or later, the government then will change over from the white government that is still running that particular community, right? It will switch over then to a government that represents the predominance of that particular community, right? which we could take like where I came from. I even talked about it in the Black Ice Chronicles. But Warrensville Heights, Ohio, once it was a white suburb. Black people started moving in. They were right on people's garages, go back to Africa, in and all that, right? But then they gradually moved out. But as they gradually moved out, the power structure and base also started cutting things, and money started disappearing. It always seems to happen. How it happens is mysterious. It's mysterious. It somehow happens, okay? So then once the government is put in place that is a representation of the predominant group of people that is in that particular community, they find out that there's no money there, and then things have to be cut, and it's just totally ridiculous. It's a situation that keeps going on. So Mnuchin says the Treasury is seriously considering issuing a 50-year bond next year. A 50-year bond hits right into when America is supposed to be majority. They say majority minority, but then what it is the whites that once were majority will become the minority, and then the once minority will become the majority, right? So it's hitting right there. And now remember the premise that I said, or the example that I gave of how when neighborhoods switch over, right? Same thing. So this 50-year bond, and so why am I saying this? People need to know what a bond is. You have to watch, you have to read news, because they're not putting it over the television. And then the financial shows, the financial shows will lie to you. When the Great Recession happened under Bush 2, the people were lying to the people and saying, "Oh, keep it in there, everything is fine." Remember Crazy Money? What was that? NBC? And he was saying, "Keep it in there." And then Melanie Hobson, remember her? She was on ABC, and she was saying, "Oh, keep it in there, everything's fine." Her and Robin Roberts were sitting up there, and she was discussing it financially and said, "Hey, everything is gonna be fine. Just keep your money there." And next thing it fell out, and then she was no longer on TV, and she cut her losses. But she was married. She's married to a famous guy. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, what is a bond? In finance, a bond is an instrument of indebtedness of the bond issuer to the holders. The most common types of bonds include municipal bonds and corporate bonds. All right? Okay, so the common type are municipal bonds and corporate bonds. All right? And remember when you watch those old movies from the 1940s, at the end of the movies, you'll hear them saying, "We're selling war bonds in the lobby." I wonder how many of those war bonds actually paid off. Okay, and this is why I'm saying this. The bond is a debt security under which the issuer owes the holders a debt, and depending on the terms of the bond, is obligated to pay them interest, the coupon, or to repay the principal at a later date, termed the maturity date. Interest is usually payable at fixed intervals, semi-annual, annual, sometimes monthly. Very often the bond is negotiable. That is, the ownership of the instrument can be transferred in the secondary market. This means that once transfer agents at the bank stamp the bond, it is highly liquid on the secondary market. That means that Mnuchin issues, and the Feds issue this 50-year bond next year, and it can be traded in the secondary market, accumulating more on top of it, more debt, depending on if they don't pay back, then it accumulates in the second market, and so on and so forth, right? Thus, a bond is a form of loan or IOU. The holder of the bond is the lender, creditor. The holder of the bond is the lender, creditor. The issuer of the bond is the borrower, the debtor. And the coupon is the interest. Bonds provide the borrower with external funds to finance long-term investments, or in the case of government bonds, to finance current expenditure, right? So I want you to look up bonds, the definition of bonds, and read through it, right? So what this man is saying is he's setting up America to be a debtor to other countries who are going to pick up the debt, or is going to pick up the bond. The issuer of the bond is the debtor. It's an IOU. The holder of the bond is the lender. He or she is the creditor. So, like they say, Japan owns so much, China owns so much of America. So this is what we used to talk about in the store years ago, right? I used to talk about, China comes over, they buy so much land up. On that land, let's take a state, there's so many prison industrial complexes, so many factories, so many people, which will be considered the ant farm. Let's consider it an ant farm. So many people, thus this is so, and thus you're going to be able to make money from off of the prison industrial complex, off of the people working, people paying their debt, and basically they're paying their debt because they're paying their property tax, and the property tax will go straight to you as a country. Thanks for buying the land right from off of underneath American people. And this right here is the same thing, right? Bonds. The lender is the lender is the creditor. The issuer of the bond is the borrower. So they want the United States to be basically in debt. In debt. That means that if the lender, who is the creditor, decides one day to call in and say, hey, you didn't pay this, we want to call this in. It's 52 years later, you have a call. We can come over and take over more. And this is what is happening, people. It is, let me go back here. Let me show you this again, because this is why I manipulated this picture like this, so that you can see it, all right? While they're talking all of this, remember the guy on MSNBC, Crazy Money or whatever that was, and he was telling it? That's why I manipulated the picture like this. You see this? You see this? See his eyes? They're gone because he can't see, and his third eye isn't going. He's too busy, in my opinion. Just him as, not him as a actual him, but them. Those who prescribe to this, they're in a blinded eye, and their third eye isn't working because they're more worried about being talking heads instead of really doing the necessary work to make sure that the United States won't be in debt. But why would they care, right? Because by the time that 50-year bond comes up, the ones who were the majority will no longer be, and then they will then be the minority, and then they will say, look what happened when we turned it over to, do you get it? Do you get it? When they turn it over to finally who were once the minority and become the majority, they will say, look what happened when we weren't running it, but they structured it to be that way. This is the game, people. And any time that you want to know why a group of people cannot get up on their feet, anytime you want to know why a group of people cannot get up on their feet, you just say, it's the way that this was structured. It's the way that it's structured. It's set up to make you not be able to get up on your feet. And it's one of the greatest okie dokes. So while people are watching the news, they're looking at it one way. They're looking at it and they want to laugh. Stop laughing at what Donald Trump is doing, because while you're laughing and while you're following what the Democrats are saying, thinking that they ridicule him or if they show what the polls are saying, don't people lie? Didn't the polls say that people lied last time? Because I remember Silver, he was the NBC darling. He was an NBC darling, right? And he got up there and said that by his polling, it looks like Trump was going to win. And then they just totally, basically just kicked him off. If you see a freeze, just restart your browser, right? I mean, refresh your browser and it'll come back up, because we're talking some information here that they must definitely don't want people to hear. So just refresh it and then it will come back and then you'll be able to hear us, right? But listen, Silver was on there and he was saying by his polling, he said it was win. Remember they had the supercomputer that they had made around 15, and they had put in all the calculations and let it surf the web, and it came out and said that Trump was going to win, and they cut the computer off. Do you remember that? If you doubt it, just search it. They cut it off. They said, no, we can't have this, because everybody thought Hillary was going to win. Hillary was going to win, but Hillary was hardly doing any campaigning. She was up there with her granddaughter. We don't know what was going on with Hillary, but she wasn't doing any campaigning, and hardly. And in the states where Trump really won, right? And the people that they have placed aren't as charismatic, aren't as interesting. You need someone that is interesting to go against Trump, that will get into the mud with Trump, and that's what it is. So when you look at this, start looking at it you have to start to extrapolate out and look long term and look what they are doing. This is not something that is new to the textbook of white supremacy or racism. It's not new. This is not new, and all you have to do is extrapolate out and say, this is how they did the neighborhoods when white flight happened. And so they just using the same model and making sure that the United States is in debt, and the people who get in place. Look at the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus. They've been sitting over there. They've been so happy to just sit around and be around people that they don't even know what it is. They're fighting other issues instead of fighting. Black people have not arrived yet, but they're over there fighting other people's issues. The other people's issues they're fighting, when you look at their websites or their Twitter page, they say they're fighting for their people. And when you look at the CDC's website, they're fighting for everything else but black people. But anyway, that's another story for another time. And that's why they will not be ready. They're not ready. And they're getting ready to leave the United States in debt. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but everybody talking about Africa and Africa and Africa. When you leave, when you get your passport, that means that you're gonna be here, buddy and budette. You're gonna be here, and so this is the country you know. And once you get over to Africa, and they have those rolling blackouts, and it's not guaranteed it's gonna be hot water or even clean water. I mean, why do you think that the Africans come over here? If it was so good, they would be there. They wouldn't come here. They would come here, get their education, and go back home, like the Pan-African plan created by black people in America was. They would leave, they would get their education and go back home and build up their home. They get here and they don't see shanty shacks, and they say, oh, it's pretty good over here, until the first or second generation come up, and then they start getting the same service that black people are getting. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for another topic. But listen, start being very interested in what the news is not telling you and go and research and find out. We're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're just talking about common sense things. If they are issuing a 50-year debt, a 50-year debt that runs smack dab into when the so-called minority becomes the majority in the United States. And then what? Hey, it's 50 years out. Those people, they figure we'll be either old and gray or we'll be gone, and it won't even matter. But it will matter for the people who are still here. When other lands come over and say, well, we're going to call in our marker, we're going to call in that bond, right? Just so they can have money to pay for what they're doing now. But what about what's happening later? And so that's it, people. So research this shit, research it for yourself and figure it out. But go read that story. Coming here from the Film Review Talk Live, we're going to talk things that people really don't want to talk about. So let's move on now. Let you know that. Go research that. Now, Lordland Theater. Lordland Theater. Every Saturday morning there is a new episode of Lordland Theater. That's where the best of independent actors act opposite me, Crazy D. Written, produced, directed, edited by Crazy D. Sometimes Crazy D is behind the camera roll when he's in front of the camera. His wife Tracy takes the helm, and it is hilarious. It has drama. It has acting, prowess from the opposites that act opposite me. And so that's why you should watch it, because every time it comes on, it automatically gets hits. People love it, and it's just building, and it's on multiple platforms. So people are seeing her, recognize and appreciate it. So that's why you should act in Lordland Theater. Submit your headshots and bios to Lordland Enterprises. That's Lordland Enterprises at hotmail.com. Lordland Enterprises at hotmail.com. Your headshots, your bio, and also business owners, brick and mortar business owners. You've got my heart, because I came from brick and mortar, and I told my story. That's how the Black Ice came about, how I won my awards in film from telling my 15 years of retail in episodes that were called the Black Ice Chronicles. So I won on that. So we will come out and actually shoot an episode of Lordland Theater in your store, and you will be within the scene with lines, and thus that's a great way to promote your business. I don't want anybody trying to fight this. I got it told before. Anyone who tries to fight this, it will be dust, and the sound quality will be horrible because their heart is not in it. They're just fighting, and that's what it is. What's going on to Donald Randell? I see he chimed in. Jerome Harry chimed in. I want to say what's up to those two brothers. So Lordland Theater, every Saturday morning, first run on Lordlandfilms.com page on Facebook. And then it populates out, goes out to all the different platforms of the film review, right? So we want to say that. Now, we have the interview coming up, and you've been seeing this ad. So this is what we're closing with here. First of all, let me say this. Let me show this. This is a steal from episode 76 of Film Review. We come on today at 4:30 with a special episode of the Film Review live podcast, episode 76, with part 1 of the interview with Luenell. So you want to chime in and watch, because it is entertaining, it is hilarious, and she drops some gems. Well, she doesn't drop some gems, she elevates gems that people in the entertainment business should know, because, I don't just ask fluffy questions. What's going on to Gail Jackson? I see she chimed in. I don't just ask fluffy questions. I ask real questions because, you know, I have a background. So I'm going to ask the real serious questions to people. Let me turn this down here as I'm seeing myself here. So tune in at 4:30 today right here on Crazon Dion page where you're seeing this, right on the profile of Crazon Dion. So you've been seeing this ad right here. We've been pushing it out, right? Right, so you see this ad right here, and you see myself, you see my wife there. She's sitting there with Luenell. These are pictures that we took before and after the interview. The interview is entertaining, informative. The woman is just phenomenal. She will have you laughing. She came up. We have some exclusive comedy right on there that she came up with right then. You have to watch this part one. You have to watch part one, part two, part three. Yes, sir. Part one debuts at 4:30 today on FB. Part two debuts on Sunday on our regular episode 76 podcast. Part two, with part two, and then on Monday, part three debuts on our YouTube channel. TV shows and films created by Crazy D. That is TV shows and films created by Crazy D channel on YouTube. All you have to do is just go to YouTube and search TV shows and films, Lordlandfilms, and it will take you right there, and you can subscribe, because you know we're at 155,000 views on our entertainment content and about 385,000 views in our general content, our various content overall, and we're going for 1 million. We're going for 1 million views, and you know we're going for those subscriptions. So go there and subscribe. There's so much entertainment there that will keep you entertained and informed. And this interview is going to be up, and then we're going to release the full interview, the full uncut interview in its entirety on one of the days, and we'll be talking about that. I think it's going to be Tuesday, right? So we want to talk about that. But right now, without further ado, we're going to give just a snippet. Now you saw the audio snippet that we gave, right? So we're just gonna give a snippet of what's going on, right? So without further ado, we're gonna go here, and then we will be back to sign out. But this is a quick snippet of what you're gonna see with Luenell. I'm just giving you a little piece because you got to tune in for part three. It's just so great. It's just that great that we broke it up into 3 parts. It's just that good. It's just that great. And so here we are, giving you a little piece of this right here. Yep.
It's just my mind work like that, you know.
Okay. So you're at Kimmel Comedy Club here in Las Vegas.
Right there. You guys will take a shot of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will.
The Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club here in Las Vegas in the Link Promenade under the big Ferris wheel is a dream come true. Hey everybody, this is Luenell, the original bad girl of comedy. I'm here at the Link Promenade in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're watching the film review.
The film review massive. This is Crazy D. You're watching the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society, and I am sitting here with a phenomenal comic. She's an original bad girl of comedy. You've seen her in Borat, and you're also going to see her in the upcoming Dolomite Is My Name, Coming to America 2, and you've seen her in Borat and so many different comedy specials. We're talking to none other than Luenell.
Hello, Viva Las Vegas.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really, really good.
We appreciate you interviewing with us.
You better.
Okay. So the first question is, you got your start, you were on Soul Beat.
Yes,
in
Soul
Oakland,
Beat Television Network in Oakland, California. Rest in peace, Chuck Johnson, who was because Soul Beat was before BET, actually. It was ran just like BET, black owned, black operated. And Chuck Johnson, I guess, had seen me doing some little stuff around town and recruited me to do some commercials. And that spun into me being on-air talent and hosting shows of my own for many years.
And so you were able to break new talent from the Oakland area.
This is another great episode of the film review. All right, people. So that's what we're gonna end there right there for right now. So that's just a quick snippet. But at 4:30 today, we're gonna have the first part of the exclusive, the film review interview of Luenell. Right. So we want you to chime in and watch that and enjoy it and everything. Let me see what's happening on the boards here. Minnie Kemet, love her. What's going on to Scott? Thanks, Minnie. We enjoyed the interview, and you're going to enjoy the interview at 4:30. 4:30 right here. Spread the word. Grab the links, the various links that we have on the Crazon Dion profile. Spread it around. Tell everybody, chime in, because episode 1 sets it up, then episode 2 comes, and then episode 3, part 1, part 2, part 3 of the film review, episode 76. It's incredible. Make sure that you subscribe to TV shows and films created by Crazy D channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. That way you stay up to when we hit things, because certain things go on there that don't come on Facebook at first, and then later it comes on and various other platforms. So we're going to tell you more about that as we go along. But we appreciate you for chiming in. What's going on to Donald Randall? You know what I mean? He's chimed in. He is Dolomite's manager, was Dolomite's manager up until he passed. And he keeps Dolomite alive. And Luenell discusses Dolomite because she's in the film Dolomite Is My Name, starring Eddie Murphy. That's right. So, and she's also in Coming to America too, and we get some news and some information. So you got to stay tuned, because we have all of that in there. The interview is extensive. It is dynamic. She is entertaining. The questions are educated. Yes, sir. So you get this, and you're not gonna just get fluff. You know what I mean? Your thing in the mall. Hey there. Hey, what's going on, Donald? Your thing in the mall. I don't know exactly what you're saying, but good to hear from you. We'll probably hook up after I get off the air here by phone, and we can talk. Thanks for your support. Yeah, just I'll be in contact. Oh yeah, no problem. More than willing to support Dolomite Records. You know what I mean? So people, we're getting ready to sign out of here, but you saw that snippet. We gave you a little bit of it, but at 4:30 today, special episode of the film review, episode 76. We're on 76 episodes, right? 76 episodes, and this one's going to be a 2-parter with a special on the YouTube channel. TV shows and films by Crazy D channel on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, and hit the bell so that you will be kept abreast on when new, entertaining programming comes about, directed, produced, edited, narrated, sometimes acted in by yours truly, Crazy D. So people, that's it. We are out for right now, and we will talk soon at 4:30 today. Get ready. The exclusive Luenell interview. And for right now, people, we are out.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, heart, heart. Crazy.